Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me in this meeting. In my presentation, I provide an overview of the Guardia di Finanza, outlining its repressive role in the fight against corruption, as well as its collaboration with Italian National Anti-Corruption Authority at the preventive level. Okay. Before starting, I would like to show you a short video about Guardia di Finanza.
Every day we combat illicit trafficking. Every day we ensure economic and financial security. Every day we keep watch from above. Every day we uphold the law. Every day we monitor the sea. People serving the people every day for 250 years. Guardia di Finanza, where tradition meets the future.
Guardia di Finanza is a military police force under the direct authority of the Minister of Economy and Finance, with general powers to fight economic and financial crime. It develops its action in three strategic areas: the fight against tax evasion and fraud, the fight against public expenditure offences, and the fight against economic and financial crime. In order to carry out these institutional tasks, Guardia di Finanza is granted judicial, administrative police power, as well as tax and monetary powers. This enables Guardia di Finanza to play a key role in the fight against corruption. In line with the national anti-corruption strategy, Guardia di Finanza operates at both levels, repressive and preventive, and works with civil society to strengthen the culture of legality. At the level of criminal repression, Guardia di Finanza, like all other national police forces, uses its criminal police powers to combat corruption offences, carrying out investigation under the direction of the judicial authorities. The main goal is to target the perpetrators of the crimes, but it's also very important to trace, seize, and confiscate the proceeds of crime and the assets acquired through corruption. As you know, confiscation is the main regulatory instrument for removing illegally accumulated assets from organized crime. In particular, confiscation for disproportion is a very effective legal tool when people convicted of corruption crimes have assets that exceed their legally earned income. If they cannot explain this discrepancy, their assets may be confiscated. To reveal the disproportion between legally earned income and assets owned or otherwise directly or indirectly available, Guardia di Finanza takes many aspects into consideration, such as financial resources, assets, economic activities, and the standard of living. Standard of living is defined as the level of wealth and well-being of an individual measured by their ability to access and enjoy goods, services, income, and assets. The slide shows some of the indicators of standard of living that we use in our investigation. These are external manifestations of wealth and economic ability. In this type of investigation, it's very important to exchange or to share information with other countries, above all when the illicit proceeds and assets accumulated can be located abroad. Here you can see the main cooperation channels it's possible to achieve. With regard to Interpol, I would like to mention the new Silver Notice, a new alert, new tool, proposed by Italy and came into effect on January the 1st, 2025, to help member countries locate and seize assets and illicit proceeds derived from criminal activities. In addition to police cooperation channels, Guardia di Finanza has access to networks such as the Egmont Group and the European FireNet that are used by financial intelligence units around the world to cooperate and exchange information in order to obtain financial data. In the fight against corruption and all other economic and financial crimes, it's crucial to have access to big data tools. Guardia di Finanza has developed specific software called Molecola that allows the massive entry of data from the multiple databases. For example, tax register, property register, public motor vehicle register, system of investigation, and many others, to which Guardia di Finanza has access. The system can quickly aggregate criminal, tax, financial, and asset data and highlight situations in which the value of assets owned exceeds the amount of legally obtained income. This slide shows how Molecola has raised a red flag, but I don't know if you could, okay, a red flag. Red flag because of a disproportion between the individual declared income, 57,000 euros, and their available assets of standard of living, purchase of vehicles and boats for 400,000 euros. So there is a discrepancy of more than 300,000 euros. In this case, our subject will have to explain how he managed to purchase those assets, how he financed them, whether he took out a mortgage, and so on. Corruption can manifest in many ways, not only paying or giving money to gain an unfair advantage. In general, corruption refers to the behavior of individuals who abuse their position of power to gain an unfair personal advantage. In this sense, it also includes clientelism, nepotism, and favoritism, which are typical forms of abuse of power that can have a negative impact in terms of the loss of credibility for institutions and can reduce citizen trust in the institutions. The concept of corruption also includes malagestio, or poor administration, which is any form of distorted, deviant, inefficient, and arbitrary management of public affairs that hinders a country's economic growth and sustainable development. Therefore, fighting corruption means not only tackling corruption crimes, but also acting in a preventive way to protect fundamental principles and values such as integrity, transparency, conflict of interest, good governance, impartiality, free competition, trust, rotation, equal condition, and so on. At the preventive level, the Italian anti-corruption authority plays a key role. As an independent administrative authority, it's responsible for controlling and supervising compliance with anti-corruption and transparency measures that must be adopted by every public administration, as well as in the field of public procurement. The national system promotes effective collaboration between the authority and the law enforcement agencies. Guardia di Finanza is the only national police force appointed by the authority as the institutional counterpoint for activities in this area. Guardia di Finanza and the authority signed a cooperation agreement. As a result of the agreement, we have 1 liaison officer and 10 units working in the authority every day to support it. The agreement also provides for effective cooperation in carrying out controls in the field of public procurement, transparency, and anti-corruption measures. This cooperation is very important because Guardia di Finanza has both administrative and police powers, enabling it to connect the two areas, prevention and repression. For example, if a Guardia di Finanza unit discovers evidence of a crime during an administrative check, it can continue the activity as a criminal investigation under the direction of the judicial authority because it also has police powers. Authority can request to special unit to conduct inspection of contracting authorities and economic operators with regard to the correct application of the public procurement code in relation to the award of contracts. The checks also cover the contract execution phase to ensure that the contract is being carried out correctly in line with the terms and conditions set out in the contract. In other cases, the authority asks special units to check the existence of potential conflicts of interest. The special unit can consult various databases in order to verify the existence of links, common interests between those responsible for awarding procedures and economic operators participating in tenders, which may give rise to situations of a potential conflict of interest. The national authority may request that the special unit carries out audits of public administration in relation to transparency and anti-corruption measures. Public procurement is one of the sectors at highest risk of corruption. In this sector, the anti-corruption special unit carries out risk analysis using a specific software called MOCOP, Public Contract Monitoring System, to select subjects with higher risk profile and focus control activities on them. The system is fed by several databases, including the National Public Procurement Database managed by our National Anti-Corruption Authority, which contains information on public contracts, tenders, contracting authorities, economic operators participating and winning, amounts awarded, rebates obtained, and so on. The system has access to all the archives and records of Guardia di Finanza, is linked to the information available from the Chamber of Commerce and the tax information of our tax register. We also can cross-reference the data with information from the National Anti-Mafia database that contains information about anti-mafia situation that permit or deny the awarding of public contracts to a particular individual. From System of Investigation, the database that contains information about police records. From SIVA2, database that contains all suspicious transaction reports from the anti-money laundering network. The system also uses risk indicators which are identified based on the control activities carried out and the experience gained over many years of operation. Those indicators may be symptomatic of situation where the risk of corruption is high, or there is a risk of infiltration by the mafia or organized crime. I've tried to list some of the main anomalies found in our controls. Of course, I don't have enough time, so I leave you the slides, and for those who want to know more, there are future explanations in the notes. In conclusion, I believe that the instruments for combating corruption at a criminal level already exist, even if more progress is needed in terms of seizing and confiscating the proceeds of corruption, particularly if they are located abroad. In my opinion, more efforts is needed to raise awareness of the importance of prevention in reducing corruption risk. Thank you for attention.
Hvala vama. Samo ću vas zamoliti da kratko odgovorite na ono pitanje. Znači, ovaj model je model koji i preferira, rekao je gospodin Milovac, koje su to, recimo, 3 elementa ili šta bi se moglo od antimafija zakona koji se primjenjuju u Italiji primijeniti kod nas, u Crnoj Gori? I da li može išta od toga? Koliko vam je uopšte poznata situacija u Crnoj Gori? Pretpostavljam da jeste.
I don't know the situation of Montenegro, I'm honest. But I think our anti-mafia legislation was very, very important in the last years when we had a very big problem in the fight against organized crime. And in my opinion, the big tool to fight and to win the fight against organized crime was the capacity to tackle organized crime on the profile, economic and financial and patrimonial profile. For example, in Italy we have many police forces like Carabinieri and state police, but they focused their activity to fight the organized crime on the level, on the criminal and military level. But Guardia di Finanza, because of he has specific capacity, capacity in the economic and financial sector, Guardia di Finanza was able to attack organized crime taking away all economic power. And when organized crime loses its economic power, his capacity to continue in the crimes is decreases. So, in my opinion, it was very important. I know that that legislation was wide criticized because the possibility to use confiscation for disproportion, even if the people wasn't convicted, but only because there was a suspect that was a link, a common interest, was close to the organized crime. Of course, this instrument is not at the top of the rights, but in Italy, this instrument, these tools, was fundamental to fight organized crime. I hope my English, but I'm not.
It's great. Thank you.